Hello and welcome back to the series where I talk about a random piece of music from my collection. Today I will be talking about Stratosfear by Tangerine Dream. This will be the second time I've talked about Tangerine Dream, so I won't go too much into the talk about the band, but they are a three-piece, mainly instrumental, mainly electronic band from Berlin, Germany. And this is a very special Tangerine Dream album for me because I remember, at least, I don't think the song Stratosphere was the first I ever heard. I actually heard Love on a Real Train first, just their biggest song. In fact, I did not hear it from the movie Risky Business, although I've seen that movie later and it's a great movie, but either way. Second song I heard from Tangerine Dream was Stratosphere, and it blew my absolute mind the first time I heard it. I'd never heard anything like this. I'll always remember the first time I heard that song, and then in turn the rest of the album. Remember, I think that the first time I sort of got interested in it was, I remember there was a Trash Theory video, which is Trash Theory, if you don't know, is a great YouTube channel that does kind of music documentaries. And they did a video, they redid the video now, but at the time it was the original version of the video of before Gary Newman, how synth pop became synth pop, and they did a little segment about krautrock. Or I remember at the time I was like, I knew synth pop already and I liked it, so I wanted to get, but I really found interesting the synth work before the 80s, I guess, or obviously Gary Newman's Cars was 1979, but you get the idea. And so I tried to find little pieces to make a playlist, and then I just thought, oh, okay, well, krautrock seems to be sort of in the same realm, so I found a krautrock playlist and started with that. I really always struggle with krautrock. I do appreciate it because it is what led me to get into progressive rock, really, because I liked some krautrock that I found from that playlist, and then just realized that the stuff I liked most was the most that not led towards, but that was most in tune with just more standard progressive rock. So really, krautrock is the reason I got into prog anyway. But I think krautrock is a very hit and miss genre. I think there's a lot of cool stuff from it, but a lot of times it's too experimental. Even like bands like Can, people love Can, but I have a lot of respect for them, but I never really got into Can. But I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. Anyway, oh shit. Okay, so Tangerine Dream Stratosphere. I listened to this from the krautrock playlist. I listened to the title track first that came out, and I absolutely loved it. And then I remember I think it was the first time I tried to listen to the whole album. I had like a really bad stomach flu or whatever, but I could not stop listening to the album, and something in my brain was like, you should stop listening. Maybe it's the music that's making you sick, which is obviously really stupid. But that's just the way I felt about it at the time. I was like, I couldn't stop listening to it, and my brain was like, stop listening to it because you feel sick. But it was obviously not why I felt sick. But I think that's just how much the music really touched me, and I still love this album. It's only 4 songs long, which is honestly kind of a lot of songs for a Tangerine Dream album. It is 35 minutes though, so it's a short album. But it opens with Stratosphere, which opens with like this guitar sort of guitar part that's like a bit like up and down. I don't really know. It's a cool opening to the song, and then it comes in with like this awesome synth line. It just goes up, 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 down, 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 down. It's really cool, and then sequencer stuff in the background. And I don't know. I always thought this really it makes me think of like ascending, and like it always makes me like wonder like because I'm not a religious person, but it always makes me feel like I'm rising into heaven or something every time I hear it, which is pretty cool. It always comforts me that way a little bit. And it kind of does that for like about like 7 minutes, and then it really doesn't, now that I think of that section, it really doesn't change all that much, but it somehow it still doesn't get boring at all. And then it kind of starts to build with like these like drum sections with like, it almost sounds like a drum, like it's like a it almost sounds like you're hitting a spray can really hard to make it spray, and then you know, it comes in and then it just rises, and then with that, and then there's a awesome guitar solo, which Edgar Froese was I think an underrated guitar player. He could write a really cool guitar solo, even just cool guitar melodies, although he's not really known for playing guitar. And then that's like the kind of climax of the song. It comes down a little bit with that same section, and then it ends with like that guitar part again that kind of goes a bit longer than it did in the intro. It's fantastic. In full honesty, I always get even though I listen to them plenty of times, I always get track 2 and 3 mixed up. I can't remember which one is which, honestly. So I'll just talk about them without mentioning which one they are. One has like a harpsichord part, which is really cool. It's an awesome harpsichord part that kind of moves. And then it comes in with like a dramatic, like big push, like with a awesome synth melody. And then kind of just back into harpsichord guitar, and then has like a flute or something. And then, yeah, one of them is like 4 minutes, one of them is 8 minutes, so I don't really know how I get them confused. I should try and commit it to memory somehow. But it finishes with Invisible Limits, which is like, I mean, this album always had like a very desolate vibe. It's almost, although I don't listen to it that much, I almost see it as like a precursor to post-rock, even though I'm not too familiar with the genre. And then that also has, Invisible Limits also has a great guitar part, and it's a bit slower. It's kind of it's almost like, it's really the twin song to Stratosphear. It's about the same length, about a minute longer, 11 minutes, but it just, yeah, I don't know. I really just remember Stratosphear the most, the title track. There we go. Also, fantastic album art, by the way. I think it's I don't remember which, but I think most of Tangerine Dream's album covers were either designed by Edgar Froese or his wife. Some were paintings, some are photography. This is obviously a painting. But there we go. Stratosphear by Tangerine Dream. Oh, I got this on Discogs.